Hey guys! So this is going to be a tutorial to get these. These are my Galaxy nails and it's a lot easier than it looks. So this is what you're going to need. The colours that I'm going to be using for this design are black, silver, white, lilac, metallic purple, metallic navy and a glitter polish. I've also going to be using a base coat and a top coat. These are just the colours that I've found work best for this kind of design. You don't have to use these, you could probably use a few pinks instead of purples. You're also going to need a makeup sponge, a dotting tool. If you don't have a dotting tool, then you can use a toothpick, some tweezers and a piece of cardboard or some kind of wrapper that won't absorb the nail varnish. So first I'm going to put a coat of black on my nails. This is Rimmel's Lasting Finish in Black Cab. I've already put a base coat on, so I'm just going to put a coat of this on and then wait for it to dry. So next I'm going to put a thin layer of this over the top of the black. This is Maxfactor Max Effect in number 20, which is called Silver. This is a step you don't have to do. It just adds a little bit of a shimmer on top, and it's nice when you're doing Galaxy nails because it gives it another kind of dimension as well. If you have a very dark black metallic polish, you can use that instead of the normal black with the silver on top, and that will work as well. When that's dry, you're going to take your makeup sponge and you're going to rip off a couple of very small pieces, because what you're going to do is you're going to use the tweezers to hold them and you're going to dab on the colour. And you need to grab your wrapper or piece of cardboard that you're going to put your nail varnish onto. We're going to start with white. This is going to be the base colour for the Galaxy effect. So just take a bit and apply it onto the wrapper. You're going to want to put quite a generous amount on here because you don't want it to dry before you've started to do your design. So then take your tweezers and grab hold of one of your bits of sponge and you're going to dab it in the white very lightly, then take off some of the excess, and then you're going to create your shape of your nebulae. Just dab very lightly on top of that nail and then go back for more if you need to. You don't want it to be too thin because otherwise your other colours won't show up on top of it. Next I'm going to use my Lilac Pastel colour. This is called Lilac Pastel and it's number 31 from Revlon. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the white. Just put a nice generous amount on your wrapper. And you can use the same sponge, dab it on, and then go over the white with the lilac. So once that's dry, I'm going to move on to my next colour, which is Vivid Violet, number 40, and that is from the number 7 Stay Perfect range. And again, I'm going to just put a small amount on my wrapper so that I can dip my sponge in. I'm still using the same sponge, and this I'm not going to put all over the white and the lilac. I'm going to put it around the edge like a gradient to move it from the light colour to the dark colour as the base. It's always best to use a very small amount of nail polish on your sponge. It's a lot easier to put more on the design than it is to take too much off. So if you need to remove some excess on a tissue before you put it on your nail, then do so. So I'm continuing to layer up the colours on this. This is the next one, which is number 292 from Barry M, called Navy. And this is a very deep metallic, almost electric blue. And again, I'm going to put some on the wrapper, ready to dab onto my nail. Now, like the purple, I'm not going to put this over the middle of the white, I'm going to put it around the edge to continue out that gradient effect. If at the end of it you feel that the darker edges aren't dark enough, you can always go back with a separate sponge and do the same dabbing with the black that we used originally, or the metallic silver. Now I'm going to go back over the white in the middle of this design with a clean sponge, just to intensify the centre of the nebulae a little bit more. It's important that you use a clean sponge for this part if you're going to do it, because you don't want to use the old one that's got all the darker colours still on it, otherwise these darker colours will transfer onto the middle part where you don't want them to. If you want to, you can also put a bit more of the lilac, pastel lilac colour on top of this as well, just to add a bit more colour. So leave that to dry, and then you want to take a glitter top coat. This one is Rimmel's Glitter Top Coat number 2 in Disco Gold, and you're going to put a nice generous layer of that all over the nail. This glitter top coat is going to add like a starry feel to the design. So once your glitter top coat is dried, then you're going to do the white dots for stars. So for this, you can use your dotting tool. If you don't have a dotting tool, it's absolutely fine. A toothpick will work in exactly the same way, so you can just use one of those instead. So you're going to take your white nail varnish again and put a nice little dot onto your wrapper or cardboard or whatever you're using. And then I'm going to use my dotting tool. So I'm just going to put a very small amount onto the end of that and just dot a few of those around anywhere that you want them to be, really. You can add as many or as little as you want. You can make these as small or as big as you want. I like to do a mixture of mini ones and larger ones. You might also want to do a few sort of cross-shaped stars. For that I'm going to use my toothpick, and I'm just going to take a really small amount on the end and use it like a paintbrush. If you want to, you can also use your toothpick to create a few swirling galaxies as well. The last step is just to add a top coat. So I'm using my Hansen Insta-dri, as I always do, and I'm just going to put a nice thick coat of that on there, and then you're finished. If you've got any nail varnish on your skin around your nail from the dabbing with the sponge, then you can just take a little bit of nail varnish remover on a cotton bud or piece of cotton wool that's wrapped around a cuticle stick, just to wipe away that nail varnish around the edge. So there you have your finished galaxy design. It's really cute, it's really fun, and I always get a lot of compliments when I have it on my nails. I hope this tutorial has been helpful and shown you that it's not as difficult as it looks to achieve. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and let me know what you think, and I'll see you again soon.